Hello, my name is Tammy Robichaux, and I have the pleasure of meeting and talking with Samantha Vade from Samantha Heals LA. Samantha and I met earlier this year when we took a training course together, and I was just in awe of how advanced she was with her healing abilities. And when I watched her video with Daniel Stranton, I was really intrigued and I wanted to know more about her modality and how she came to develop it and how it came to be. So welcome, Samantha. How are you today?
Oh, hi, Tammy. I love our time together. And I just thank you for even suggesting this today. I didn't even think about it. So thank you so much for this because, yeah, I'm talking about my gifts, but to actually sit down with people and actually let them know how my healing modality has developed. I'm really glad that we're doing this and I'm really happy to share. So we met, as you just mentioned, during this chakra healing training, which was an amazing, absolutely amazing. And I think I'd already mentioned that I've had the sort of healing gifts as a child. And then as I was working with different healers on my journey to recovery and getting healed, the more that got cleared, the more that my own like psychic abilities and being able to see and hear just kept getting uncovered and uncovered and uncovered. So by the point that we'd done this training and we got this activation, it was already there anyway, but it was just, something to add to something that was already been uncovered. So I just remember from when we were doing our training sessions together on each other that just like the strangest things were like happening and I couldn't understand. And I was asking other classmates, like, well, was that for you as well? Did you see this? Were you able to see this when you were doing that on me? And they were like, no. And then I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So the more sessions I did, the more I just naturally just started honing in. There wasn't any effort. It was just like something that was just being awakened from so many past lives. It just felt like the most like you put on your shoes. Doing this was like so normal. So when I actually started doing this modality, and I'm not talking about the Reiki, which I love and I still use with my animal Reiki, but this modality, which I can't even name because I feel it's like my own. I don't know anyone else that's doing it. It's something that's so unique to me. But when I call on this team, which again, I was never doing, I was never really calling on them. I was calling on the divine, and that is enough in itself. But you forget that you do have guides, you do have this whole team that you've decided to have this relationship with before you came down onto earth, and they just sort of sit there waiting around for you to ask for help. And the moment I started doing that, then I started to like hear. And I was like, okay, what are these voices that I'm hearing? What's wrong with me? But no, they're not. Then it's like you have to trust. And the more I was working with Daniel and then working with my own healers to get healed, they were just saying, well, no, this is your communication with them. So when I actually started to heal and actually just trust, I was able to just put the client in a macabre, especially if this is Zoom, if I'm doing it long distance remotely, and then just able to bring their energetic body into the room. And even that itself was blowing me away because I could literally just sense them in the room, whether they're in India or Switzerland or whatever. And then as I'm working on the body, literally the guides are telling me, oh, this is what's stuck in this chakra, this is what's stuck in this chakra. And then physically being able to, from the third eye, just being able to see these blockages. And as I'm seeing them, thinking, okay, what's this? And the guides are saying, oh, it's this block is related to this, it's related to issues with such and such, such and such. And so
Did
I
the, did the
say
guides did the guides want you to tell your clients what those blockages were?
at the end for sure, but during the sessions, I felt like I was doing it. And I learned very, very quickly that I ain't doing anything, really not doing anything here. And I could hear the guide saying, well, if you want this to be more successful, you need to step out the way. You are just there as, what's the word? You're just there as, to actually, yeah, you're just, exactly. And I'm just there to offer it. But then the moment I call them in, I could actually then see that they're doing work. I can see like extra kind of hands going in and doing things, which again just completely blew me away. Like, oh my God, like what is happening? And then the craziest thing, which, as you know, and if you'd seen my other video, you know that the reason I was working with Daniel, because I actually just wanted this to learn how to be a channeler, which I did very, very quickly. Again, I just really believe this is all past life stuff, and I think we all have the ability to do that. We really, really, really do. And then last week, I was working on this client, bless him, because I said to him that I'm going to be doing this like chakra healing. And then I just already felt this connection with him, loved him. I don't know why. And then when I actually got to the heart chakra, I was just feeling so overwhelmed with so much love. I don't know where it came from. I just don't know, all of a sudden why I was overwhelmed with so much love. And then I burst into tears halfway through this healing session. And I could tell this poor client was just like, he's like, okay, what's going on here? Like, why is she crying? And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Saint Germain starts channeling. Like, I was learning to channel anyway with Daniel, and it was just that Saint Germain was always coming through. But during this healing, he literally started channeling. I knew I was there, but he literally come through and started talking to my client, and then they were having a conversation, Saint Germain and my client. And Saint Germain was asking my client, are you okay? It's so lovely to be here, and all the rest of it, very personal stuff. And then he just said goodbye, and there's still crying. And now I understand it was just this, the guides are so present. And then when I was just open, they were just coming through. And it was just like the most profound thing I have ever experienced in my life. So on one hand, like I'm clearing the guides, I can see talking to me, and then Saint Germain is coming through. It was just so surreal. It was just like 4 different techniques all happening at the same time. And I'm just thinking, okay, just go with it, because it's so beautiful. This is so beautiful. This is something I've never experienced before. And then just go with it. And I think after that, the next 4 clients, the same thing would be happening. And it was also, even when I was doing the animal Reiki, and I've mentioned, you'll read on my website, and I've mentioned on the last video that with animals especially, I don't offer this chakra healing because it's so powerful and potent that you give me permission as a human, and that's why I do it. But with animals, you are just holding space, and that's the technique that I use with the Reiki. I'm not putting my hands, unless it's your pet and they give you permission and you can sense it and but you will always start, especially with an animal or a pet that you don't know, just by holding space. And I put videos up on my Instagram about this, and I'll add more about it's just holding space. And then when the pet or animal feels comfortable, they'll come. But even then, on both occasions, Saint Germain was coming through it, just wanting to say hello. Just like, it's so bizarre because I wasn't in that modality of doing that chakra healing. So I'm finding the more I let go, the more that I just get out of my own way. I think that's what I was trying to say like 8 minutes ago and couldn't find the words. But the more I get out the way, the more I realize that I'm not doing anything. And you call on that, you call on the team, you call on the divine to let them do the work. All the magic happens. And I'm just, again, just so in awe and so blown away how this has transpired. And the more I'm doing, the more it's becoming more powerful, the more I'm trusting, the more they communicate, the more I can see, the more I can pull out of the body. And it's been so incredible. I'm not hiding anymore. I'm not hiding my gifts. The more I hide, then it's like everything shuts down and then nobody can come through, nobody can help. And then it's like, no, if I just shine and get out of my own way, magic happens.
So what did you have to do to get to the point where you could get out of your own way and you felt comfortable enough to shine?
I think it was being honest with friends, even you. It's then people like you then holding me accountable for saying something, because we can all talk the talk at the end of the day. And then I'd also invested a lot of time and money with Daniel, who was helping me and he was championing me. And then when we were channeling together and when he was channeling for me, and the guides, his guides and ascended masters and teams were saying, well, you can do it. And so, but again, it was like, there's only so much Daniel can help. There's only so much anybody can help until you just have to just risk it for a biscuit, as I say. And then you just got to do it. And then you just look, the first time I did it, it's like, I look back and think, really? I was holding on to what? Like, what was it? Like, what was there to fear? There was nothing. And I think it was just at that moment the sort of floodgates open. It was just like that much energy just waiting for like decades to actually do something. And the minute you just say yes, I'm just going to do it, and then whatever happens, and it's been nothing but magic, really.
That's beautiful. And you are such an inspiration to me, to follow your bliss and your happiness. But one thing that you said that I wanted to touch upon is that you had to get out of your own way and you had to let go. Can you explain that a little bit more and how that allowed your guides to come through and to help you and just allowed you to blossom?
So actually, this is something that we touched upon earlier before this recording, how we were talking about, we hear people saying what's meant to come for you or is, destined for you will come to you. And then I found that very uncomfortable to a certain point, because we could just still be sitting there if the money's accrued and it's up there waiting for you, and that's all lovely, hunky-dory, brilliant. But if you're not in the right mindset to be available to it, you still got to be available. You have to put yourself in a position where, yes, I'm available, I'm abundant, I'm worthy, I'm deserving, I let it flow to me. It's all coming to me. But if you're there saying, yeah, it's coming, it's up there in a bank account and it's what's meant for me will come for me, but you're sitting there saying, well, I'm not deserving of this, I'm not worthy. Oh my God, I can't pay my bills, I can't do this. How is that energy going to flow to you? So that is it. It was like switching a mindset, just switching and getting out the way. And then when you're aligned to that, when you align to just being free, then that's what frees you up. Then you can then everything aligns. It's simple as that. But if you think for 1 second that anything that comes to you will come to you and you don't have to do anything, and I'm not saying you have to do something physically, it's just changing the mindset to allow it in. I mean, I can't put it in any other terms than that, really. That's what it was for me.
And would you say that when you do a chakra clearing on a client, that they then also need to be open to what comes, the emotions, or how would you describe what's the responsibility of the client?
That's a good question. It just really, you got to tread carefully on this, because it just depends how open the client is to receive that information. Sometimes they're just not willing to kind of hear, because they don't want to necessarily take responsibility to know that you are the creator of your own reality. And I know that's hard, because we've both kind of had a hard time accepting that we are the creators of our own reality, right? But it just, the more you shift, the more you clear the energy, the more that client starts to have an awareness and an understanding. At the beginning, it's really rough and it's hard. But the more you ask them to trust, and the more that shifts, the more the mind can start accepting it. But it is a process. It really, really is.
Samantha, I am amazed when I listen to you and how you describe your process and how you interact with people. I think it is just so beautiful and so amazing. And I want to thank you for taking the time to speak with me today, and just thank you.
Oh, Tammy, again, thank you so much. It's just, I love our time together, and I really, really appreciate you doing this with me today. So much love to you. Thank you so much.